Hey babes, thanks so much for hopping back here behind the scenes with me. A little bit of a behind the scenes as to coaching. I'm going to use this video to give you a little background on me before coaching, a little bit about my journey through coaching, and then up to the present. And so ideally, I hope that this helps you better decide if this is something that you too want to pursue. So by me sharing my story, my hesitations, what launched me into choosing this as a platform, hopefully that helps you better decide as well and make a better informed decision for yourself. So I'm going to get started, but actually before I forget, after this call, if you feel open to it, share your story, introduce yourself, share your story below. I love that part. Like, I want to know you. I want to know your story. I want to hear about that, how, if anything relates to mine, to yours, that connectedness. That's what I love so much about coaching is the relationships, the community, and how we're in this together. Like, we all have this journey. We all have these unique experiences, but yet we are so similar as well. And so I would love for you to comment below, introduce yourself, say hi, and share your story if you're open to it. So I'm going to go ahead and start my story. Freshman year of college, I'm going to say that's about when my health journey, or I should say maybe unhealthy journey begins. The struggle bus kind of begins there. So I was a college athlete. I played field hockey. I came into my freshman season in dynamite shape. I was very lean, muscular, followed that conditioning program to a T because I was so scared, and came into that program very fit, ready. I had a pretty successful freshman year, but then towards the end of the season, I should say living on a bus played its toll, eating whatever the heck I wanted started to play its toll, and that's the first time I started to see myself differently in the mirror. I started to see my flaws, and actually started thinking about like what I was eating, and like, oh my gosh, are you really gonna eat that? Or like started to really think about the content of my food and calories. And so prior to that, I never had any issues with that. Eating, I ate whatever I wanted, and I never thought twice about it. You know, I was pretty confident. But that was the first time I started looking in the mirror, and it started to freak me out. And so as a perfectionist, I want to say prior perfectionist, because coaching, thank the Lord, really helped mind switch that, and that's something of the past. But at that point in time, I was a perfectionist, and if I could fix anything, if I thought something needed fixed, I would be right on it. I would be very adamant about fixing it right away. And so that's what I did. So I thought, you know what? My mindset was, if I don't eat fat, then I can't get fat, right? So I went on this whole spree of not eating any fat, and so literally on the food label, if it said under fat content anything, I would not eat it. So it was everything fat-free is what I ate. And that played its toll, and by the end of my freshman year, I had dropped to 100 pounds, completely unhealthy, weak. For the first time, I was using exercise as punishment. So if I ate something I thought I shouldn't have, and I was eating very, very little. But if I ate too much, I was using exercise, obsessively exercising, just miles and miles and miles and miles a day, barely eating. And so by the end of my freshman year, I was anorexic, and it was very visible that something was I was unhealthy. And so needless to say, long story short, I ended up having to leave my college hockey career, and then ultimately I had to end up leaving college because it was so severe. And also with that, I should say I was a people pleaser. So when I saw my parents very, very worried, I started eating to please them, to make them happy. And then I started getting rid of food. So that's when my bulimia started. So I say all of this because I think people with social media right now, and the depending on when you started following my journey, you may not know that about me. And so it's easy sometimes to look at someone at their chapter 13, but not see their beginning story and where they were prior. So I don't want anyone to ever think and see me now and think, oh my gosh, she's always been healthy, fit, and happy and free and always had it all together. And no, it couldn't have been farther from the case. So that's when my bulimia began, and my journey with an eating disorder went well over 10 years. And when I say eating disorder, I mean I was literally binging and purging at least once a day. So I was throwing up every single day of my life for over 10 years. So you can just imagine the havoc that it was causing inside my body and the chaos, and completely unhealthy. So throughout those 10 years, though, I started to, with anorexia, it's one thing, and people can really tell sometimes that you are, you have an eating disorder, but with bulimia, it's sometimes a little bit easier to hide because you're not always, I wasn't a size 0 anymore. I was still skinny, but I think I put on enough weight. I was a size 4, where people probably thought that I was recovered and I was healthy. I was a health and physical education teacher for 7 years. So talk about hypocritical, right? I'm there teaching health and how important it is and exercise, and there I am with this hidden life. So leading 2 lives for over 10 years is exhausting. I was completely exhausted, miserable, depressed, unhealthy, but that was hidden. A lot of people did not know that about me. And so through that process, while I had an addiction and eating disorder, I married my high school sweetheart. We moved to North Carolina, and I say this just because I know what unhealthy habits and unhealthy lifestyle, the damage that it causes. And so it hurt my relationship. I wasn't the wife I needed to be. I wasn't the daughter, the sister, the friend. I wasn't who I knew I could be, and it really did play. It really hit our relationship hard to the point where we did end up getting divorced. And I take a lot of the responsibility there because of my unhealthy habits. And I say that because I can use that now as a coach and in my own life even now as experience, because I know what those unhealthy habits, like how deep they really affect. It affects your whole entire life and your family and those around you. It was hurting the people I love the most. And so I say that because your past, the mess that you may have, can turn that into a message. And as a coach, you can use this platform as a beautiful vehicle, vessel to reach and help others. Because I think about this, and Beachbody is just the platform that I use. I'm a health advocate first and foremost. I take my story, my message, and my deep desire and passion for other people to have what I have now, and I use Beachbody as a platform to reach hundreds, thousands, and ultimately my goal and hope is to be able to reach millions through this platform because of healthy living lifestyle and what we have to share. Balance, portions, eating, and exercise. Back to the basics, right? Back to the basics. No quick fixes, back to the basics, but ultimately community. And it's people like us sharing our journey, and that I can share where I was so people can relate to that and know if I can do it, they can do it too. And that's how beautiful this is. So, throughout this, my story that I'm going to share, I'm going to try to hit on objections. And, one of them is selling, and I hear people say, well, that's just a pyramid scheme, or I don't want to be salesy. But this is sharing, because the products sell themselves. We have amazing products. We have amazing tools and resources to help people get healthy and fit. But we share our story. Ultimately, people just want to know it's possible. People want to know that there's someone with them throughout the journey, that they're not alone. Because you can go online and you can get the workout. It's not a matter of that. People know what they have to do, basically, but they don't want to do it alone, and they want to know that it's possible to maintain. And that's the cool thing that we get to do. So in the process of being able to help others, we're holding ourselves accountable too, because we know other people are relying on us and using us as inspiration. And that is so awesome as a job. I get to do that as a job. So something I would do anyway, a healthy, happy, fit lifestyle, I get to use that as my job. And that's how I make money, is sharing this lifestyle and helping other people have it too, you know? So how cool is that? Back to my story. Back to my story. So I was a teacher, and I was a teacher for 7 years, and that's great. And that was, you know, in my yearbook. What are your future plans? I want to be a teacher and a field hockey coach. That's what I did. I was a teacher and a field hockey coach. But year after year after year, it became, you know, it started to wear on me. And I started to get thoughts of like, really, is this it? Am I going to be 65 and still doing this same thing over and over? And I felt like I was in a hamster wheel. And so that's when I started thinking about other avenues. And that's whenever I decided to quit my tenured teaching job. And that was very, very difficult, scary decision. But ultimately, I look back at the most scariest decisions that I've ever made in my life have been the best decisions in my life. And so I moved to Philadelphia to take on a manager of a personal training department at a gym. But needless to say, God had other plans, introduced me to Beachbody in Philadelphia, and oh man, the rest is history, right? Completely changed my life, but I must say it did not happen overnight. But with Beachbody, that's whenever I first started dreaming big. It's when I first started believing in myself. It's when I first started really connecting with personal development. So that's a vital that we have as coaches. So every day we dig deep into Mind Fuel. And I think about my past and where I would be binge watching Netflix for hours while binging on tubs of ice cream, whole entire pizzas, bottles of soda, you name it. That was my lifestyle. And day after day after day, to now where I'm digging into Mind Fuel, personal development that develops me as a leader, helps me better help my clients and my team. And you add that up day after day after day, talk about life-changing, you know, and we have that. I work for a company and I use Beachbody as a platform because they value me. They, number one, want me to be healthy, fit, and happy. That's our number one. That's a vital, is to get our workout in, to dig into personal development and train our mind, because they know you can't mess with the foundation. They know that it's the basics, little habits consistently done over time that really add up and make a difference, and they really do. And hence then, with that mind training and those healthy habits, getting in your workouts, you see your own transformation, you naturally want to share that. Because I think about it and I think about my morning meditation, and I have this note that I follow, you know, and every single day I ask God I say, where would you have me go? What would you have me say, and to whom? I am a vessel for you, however you want to use me. And that's the coolest job I get to have, is to be a vessel for God and just let him lead. And I never would have had that confidence, that trust, that faith, if it wasn't for Beachbody coming into my life. So God knew what he was doing, obviously, knew what I needed, and even when I didn't know what I needed. And that's the coolest thing. And I want to make sure that I make that very, you know, I want to be real and raw in here and say that it did not, again, happen overnight, but through taking on coaching and the habits as they developed me into who I needed to be to get to the next level and to level up. And so, you know, I started creating vision boards and really having faith and believing in something more, because before, you know, as a teacher, I would see these people, and I always wanted, like, I lived in Pennsylvania, so the winters are horrible. I'm not a winter fan. And I would always think about myself, palm trees and sun, but that, to me, that was a vacation, right? Or for the rich and famous, but by no means me, right? And I thought about that, and I thought about people living this lifestyle and palm trees in the sun, and that was my vision, and everybody has their own dreams and their wants and desires, but that was mine. I wanted to live in sunshine, palm trees, have that life and freedom, financially free, drive the car I wanted, live in the house I wanted, be able to travel anytime I wanted. And, I saw people doing it, but I thought, oh, well, they were born wealthy. They were born into a rich family. I was always making excuses as to why someone else could do it, but why I couldn't. It just wasn't for me. And it wasn't until I started Beachbody and seeing other people in this community as coaches, developing, creating their dreams, that I was like, you know what? If they can do it, so can I. And I didn't care how long it took, how much work it took. I was devoted to doing that because I saw them happy doing something that they love. They were fit, they were healthy journey, and they were having time to make themselves a priority. Half the time I didn't even have time to eat as a teacher, And so I was like, wow, if they can do it, I can do it. And that's my hope for you, is that you can see and hear my story and see where I was in that hamster wheel over and over, an addict, failed marriage, completely depressed, suicidal. I didn't get to that part yet. But if I can do it, you can do it. And your story may not be like mine, but we each have a story, and we have so much value to share and to give. And throughout coaching and me as your mentor, I will help you develop and find your niche, your brand, and who you best can help. Because for me, I love connecting with people that also had an eating disorder. And so that's my ability to use my mess, my past, as a message and as a good thing, as a wonderful blessing. And I now do look back at my eating disorder as a blessing, because I am where I am. And I was at the depths of the deepest low, and now I get to share that freedom is possible, because I know when I was an addict and I was so immersed in it, I just wanted to know that it was possible to have freedom, to not look at food and be afraid, and to not be a slave to the scale, and not look in the mirror and just want to cry. I saw other people doing it, and I'm like, I want that so badly. Like, how can you eat that and not think about when you're going to get rid of it? Like, I didn't know what that was like. And so I wanted to know it was possible, but I wanted to hear it from someone that went through it, And so your story may be different. You may have completely reverse story where you were overweight all growing up, and you're going to be able to relate to people in that way. Or maybe you were bullied, or maybe you grew up and you had a disease, or you had some other obstacle that you had to overcome. But we're all unique. Like, yes, we are all coaches. So a lot of people use that as, a hesitation, like, oh, well, there's so many, fitness coaches out there right now. But everybody, we're all unique, and we have a different, someone that's going to relate to you may not relate to me. Someone that relates to me may not relate to you. And that's how beautiful this is. That God gives us all our story, and a beautiful one at that, to use to help others. And there's nothing better, that just melts my soul than hearing other people say, thank you so much for sharing your story, for sharing your past. Like, it's not talked about enough. Or for being with me through mine, or believing in me. Some people just honestly don't have people that believe in them. They are surrounded by toxic relationships, toxic people. And you know what? As strong as you are, when you're around that, I've been there, when you're around that, it's just like, it's so hard to just combat that. But when you are surrounded with people that believe in you and are there to remind you how loved you are, regardless of what you do and what you don't do, you are loved regardless. That's unconditional love. It's amazing. And that's what this coaching community is. Like, you never have to journey alone ever again. You have people that are so supportive, that want to see you succeed more than they want to see themselves succeed. Like, I just love seeing my coaches on my team see their dreams unfold before their eyes, just as much as I love to see my vision board unfolding. That I get to live in a penthouse where I get to watch the sunset out of my living room every single day. And I used to live in Philly, and on my vision board was a picture of palm trees and the sunset. I literally get to see that every single day now. Talk about how cool God is, right? And I want to see my team see that. I want to see my clients be able to see their life change, to love life again, to look in the mirror and see the beauty in themselves again. And we have that opportunity. That's what coaching is about. Yes, there's a lot of cool things, and I don't ever want to lead with the financial aspect. I would be lying if I said that I don't enjoy that part of it, right? But it did not happen overnight. It took years, and so many people quit before they even get to that point. So I don't want you to come into this leading with the financial aspect, because that comes along the way. But it has to be deeper than that. It has to be more meaningful than that. A deeper purpose, passion. And you know, when I say my morning meditation and my gratitude, and it's always leading with, I'm a vessel, I'm an extension of love. I just want to be used by God. And, you know, if it's something different than that, then maybe you're not meant to be. Maybe this isn't the platform for you. But ideally, this is just a way that I have found to reach so many people with health and fitness, and even more so than that, the mindset piece, finding the love of life again, you know. And so I don't want to get too far into that or too on a tangent there, but I hope that helps sharing my story. And I want to make it very clear that when I started coaching, I was deep in my addiction. I had to max out my credit card to buy my challenge pack to start as a coach. So financially, I was not even, you know, I could have used the excuse like, I don't have the money right now, but it was the best $170 I had ever spent in my life. I can guarantee that one, and completely changed my life. And as far as some other objections that I often hear, hesitations, is that, you know, it's just not a good time right now because I'm so busy. I was literally in a PhD program. So full-time PhD program. I was teaching, because that's how I was getting my PhD program paid for. So I was teaching kinesiology, and I was also running this business at the same time, in the top 1,000 out of 450,000 coaches teams. So it can be done. It can be done. Now, thank you, Lord, that I was able to leave that and do this full time, what I love. But that's not for everybody. And starting out, you may not have that option. This may be something that you need to work 1 hour a day. It may look different, but ideally it is possible. So as far as you needing to be in the best shape of your life or have it all together, please toss that out right now, because I was broke. I was definitely living paycheck to paycheck. I was unhealthy, so I was deep in my addiction. But coaching for me gave me the tools and resources and immersed me in the most amazing relationships and positive environment, that it helped me become who I needed to be. Like, it helped me recover. Number one, I can say I'm fully recovered from my eating disorder. And I can share that now with people. And so you're going to have your own journey process, but it's sharing that along the way. People are going to relate to you where you're at in your journey, where you've come from, where you're going, your vision, the confidence, the leadership abilities that transform throughout this process. Like, you do not have to do it alone. We develop that together. You become a leader. Like, I mean, it will blow your mind what is possible here, and it's limitless. So I hope that helps. I love you regardless if you choose this opportunity, this platform. I love you regardless. And again, please introduce yourself and share your story if you're open to it. I can't wait to meet you, but ask any questions. That's what this is here for. We're being real, honest. Ask away. I'm going to touch on some other things throughout this behind the scenes, but I hope that helps. I love you so much, and thank you so much for hopping in here. Love you guys.